Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away and it's a brand new week and I'm actually not here today. I'm actually travelling back from London today, so I already had this video in the bag. But you know what, coming back from Wonderfest, so many people asked me about my legacy builds, namely the DeLorean, the Enterprise D, and what I'm going to be working on today, because we haven't seen this in months. I'm going to be doing the next 5 stages of Fanhome release and build the Star Wars Millennium Falcon. So to get on with this, I really needed to see where we're up to. And I know we started on, well, we're going to be started on stage 52, but I do need to do a quick repair. And as you can see here, I've lost some of my, whatever these things are. I don't know what these are. I haven't got a clue. This one actually goes here. I'm going to glue this back into place. They are somewhere. They are somewhere. I think they're actually behind my workshop unit. So I do need to move that out, but let me just put this in and then we will figure out together what we are actually missing. That shouldn't go anywhere now. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be looking for 4 of those. Also, I remember that I didn't have this cover here, which is going in here. Now I don't intend to have this flying. I know I can get another one of these. It's not a problem if I do. I do want to probably have the landing gears out. I haven't got a clue. But this is where we're up to on that bottom section. But we're not actually working on that, I don't believe. I think we're actually now working on the top section. So let me put this to one side. Now, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you that this is still available because it's been so long I haven't got a clue. But as you know, all of my links are in the description and they're also down here as well, including my Amazon store and my merch store and any model events going on. It's all in that QR code there. Anyway, without further ado, let's get cracking. So obviously I'm a little bit lost now because I don't know where we're up to. But stage 52 is here. Here is the magazine. And it looks like we're starting to build onto the frame. So we have got this ring section here. And I'm guessing what we're creating, we're going to be attaching to that, which means I'm going to need loads of these screws. Hopefully I've still got them. And then we're going to be adding some passenger tube covers here. So here is stage 52. And I do have screws in here. I've got a sprue as well, looking like that. I'm kind of hoping that all the screws I need are actually in this one, to be honest with you. But what I'm going to be doing first is bringing over the frame that we have been working on, which I'm guessing looks just like that. Now, I don't think this is attached. I have already attached this and I can't think why. Is there a reason? I don't know. I've attached it already and I don't know why, but I'm going to keep it on because that's exactly what I do. Okay, first thing we're going to do is I've got this part, which is TF16. Comes in this stage looking like that, and this is going to be going underneath here just like that there, which means I'm going to need some of these black screws to put these in with. I'm sure these screws have got names, but for this build I just remember them being silver, black and bronze. I'm sure it's all going to come racing back to me shortly of where I actually was. So this is TF16, so putting these in here, 3 screws. Okay, so now we're going to put this ring section on. The picture's deceiving. It looks like it's round this way, but it's not. It's actually round this way that this is going to be going in, because we want this notch here to be fitting into this cavity for the notch here, just like that. So now that's in, let's get some screws loaded up and I'll get this screwed in. It's only really going to need a couple to keep this into place for a second. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go round, and everywhere that we've actually created so far, which attaches to this middle ring, I'm going to put a screw in. It's kind of fun getting back to this, I have to say. Because you've got to remember, this is where my channel all began, by putting the Millennium Falcon. I was building that on the channel. That was a long time ago, before I had 5 cameras on and stuff. Okay, so one more screw just going in here, and pretty much everywhere this frame now touches the middle ring has got a screw in it. Okay, I can put this to one side. And now I've got these 2 parts, which are going to be creating the inner tube, and this is going to be going on here just like this. Now, we do have some pins to put in here, and these are in here. So these are pins and magnets, basically. Going to get me glue out. And the pins are going to be going onto the tops of these sections here. So I'm putting some glue in each side. And using my tweezers to help me just drop these into position. One there. And one there. Let that glue cure, because in the meantime I'm going to be putting some magnets just into these points just here. So filling these cavities here up with glue. And then just drop these in here. Again, it doesn't matter about the polarity of these. Probably best not to use metal stuff. Let me get me cotton buds out. By getting cotton buds out, also I get to take off any excess glue on there. Put one in the other side. Into position like that. Take off any excess glue. There we go, that's lovely and clean. So I'm going to let that dry before I actually put these together, and obviously these magnets are now going to hold these two parts here together. But that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, stage 53. Here's the instructions. And we've got some more sprues here and stuff. We're going to be, again, adding some sections to the frame by putting a connector on. We're going to be starting to build the jig, which is going to go underneath, and then it looks like we're going to be building another cavity here. Now these cavities, from what I understand, we're going to have to paint as well, so I'll probably do that afterwards. You have seen me do this on the channel, but there is quite a bit of work going into this section here. So for that reason I need stage 53, and boy, there is a lot of stuff in here. Not too worried about these yet. Let me put that to one side. Lots of sprues, which I will use afterwards. But I'm going to get the connectors and the frame pieces out. Now we've still got plenty of these black screws left over from the last stage. So we're going to start putting these together. So if I bring over the frame that we were working on last time, I'm interested in this frame here, TF14. What I'm going to be doing is putting a 2-pin connector, one of these metal connectors, onto this point just here. And that's now ready to accept a frame next to it. Now if we move just a little bit further down to this point here, I'm going to be putting a 4-pin connector. One side's got a little bit more of a indent in it, so there is a way that these connectors go. But let me get those in. And I think we're now in a position to start putting these parts in now here. So as you can see in this stage, we've got these two parts here, TF17 and TF18. We're going to be putting these together. So this is actually going to be going here, just like this. And this is why we've got this 2-pin connector, which is going to go there. That'll join these two parts together. There you go, perfect. So that's how that looks, and I think you can see how this is going to go. This is going to go on here just like that. So again, these black screws to hold this in. I think I'll get this bottom one in first just to hold that into place, and then I'll put the other two in. And we've got another bit of the frame on there. So with that in place, I can put that to one side. I want to bring over the parts to make the jig. Now, we already had 2 of these parts looking like this. So by the look of it, the way this is going to go, this one here is going to go in here. And then this one here is going to go on this side over here. That looks like the picture. I'm hoping that's right. Let's check that, because we should be able to now sit this into position, which we can on there perfectly, just like that. Let's put that to one side, because we're now going to be creating this recess. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom up some of my cameras, I think, because this is going to be some fiddly work, and we do need the sprues that come in this stage, namely this one here. These are all numbered to be going in here. Get my ultra sharp sprue cutters, and obviously the first one I'm going to cut off is the biggest one. Get me glue at the ready. I want this round this way. And what I'm going to do is put some glue just around the edges here. And put that into position just like that. and let that set. So I want detail 2 now, which is this detail here. There's a lot going on in this detail. And this one's going to be attaching by this section just here. And the good thing about building a spaceship is you really don't have to be too careful about swamping this in glue. Because by the time we've finished all the weathering, which I am going to be doing on this, you're not going to notice. Detail 4, which is this bottom one. Again, I'm making sure I've got a generous amount of glue around the outside here. The pins are only really holding it in. But that's going to go over this side here. Detail 5, next one up. This one fits in on its side. So I want to make sure that I've got plenty of glue on that edge. So that then this can sit in like this. Detail 7, over here. Again, glue at the back, because this is going into the 2 holes here. Detail 6, which is this big one here, is going to go into that cavity just there. So again, glue on the back of this. And put that in there. I've got detail 8, which I've already cut off the sprue. A little bit of glue behind, which is actually going to go into the holes just on the top of the detail I just put in. Like that. Detail 9, that's this one up here. Now detail 9, bit of a strange one. Putting some glue just on the edges here, but also on this edge that we put in sideways, because this kind of sits on the back wall. So if I hold that up that way, put this in, so as you can see, that's in now like that. Detail 10 is this one here, which if I just put a blob of glue there, is actually going to be going on this way. Nice lot of detail in there. Detail 11 over here, again a blob of glue just in the hole just there, because this is actually going to be going on this way, like that. Detail 12, which is this one, which again kind of sits into this section here in the back wall. So I put glue on both, so I can actually put this in and let it rest in the position that that's actually going to be. Let's get that straight. There you go. So that's how that looks. Detail 3, I'm not doing these in any order, you know. Not doing these into the order of the instructions, that's for sure. Okay, this one's actually going to be going right down the bottom here, in these 2 holes here. And that's in there just like that. 2 more details left on this sprue. I've got detail 14, which is going into this cavity just here. And I do want it this way round. Perfect. And then the last one, which is detail 13 here. Actually a really tiny one this is. I say this is the last one. There is actually one more after this, which is going to go into the hole just here. Make sure I put this in the right way. It goes in this way. You can also see now in the whole Star Wars universe how they just took random bits to put these into these areas. Okay, sprue's empty. This one's going to be going into the hole just on the top here. And it actually sits in a cavity down here. So I am just going to put some glue just on here. Because when I put this in, it sort of goes down at an angle here, as you can see. And with that done, that's that whole recess area done. That's all there is to do in that stage. Zoomed out a little bit there, stage 54. Here's the instructions. And we've got a little bit more frame that we're going to be putting together, including a little bit more of the jig, looking like that. We've got a battery box here that we're going to start preparing up as well. So that's looking just like that there. I wonder how many of you forgot that I was doing this. It's been so long. I bet you did. I bet you forgot. Right, okay. Let's bring this jig over here, and we're going to be adding a section just here. Like that, which means now I can, once again, put this on there. Because we're ready to build onto this now. And if I just take these connectors out, because it's those that I need first, I'm going to be wanting to put these two pin connectors, on each of the edges here. One here. And one here. So we do have some frame parts here. This one, first off, is going to be going in here just like this. Now having the jig on here now does make this a little bit easier. So get these screws in, one there and one at the top. And then the last 2 pin connector that I've got, I'm just going to need to connect into the position here, because this is now going to house the frame part, which is going to go on the bottom there. And I'm going to hold that in with 2 screws. Perfect. Now on this edge here, to keep that together, we do have another rib which looks like this. I'm going to be wanting to put these on the points just here and here. So again, get these black screws sorted out. If I put one there, it's going to line everything else up. And then this one here. And there we go. We've extended the frame out. Pretty much half the frame has been done now. Now when it comes to standing up and mounting, we've got these really big bolts here. We don't actually use them, but we will be using them later on in the build, so I need to keep them safe. What I do have now though is the battery box that we're going to be working on. So first things first, I've got a little bit of sponge here. Let's get that open. Take the adhesive off the back, and I want to put this onto this battery box bracket right in the center there. So to jog your memory, this is what the battery box looks like. We're going to be putting this in now. So this is going to be fitting in the cavity just here like that, and then this is going to be going over the top of this now. Now it does go in a certain way. These are sloping down just like this does here, so it's going on this way like that. And I've got these bolts and nuts here by the look of it. Now I'm just checking. Now they give us the nuts in this stage that's going to attach that. What they don't do is tell you which ones the bolts are. Now looking at the pictures, the bolts look to be brass, so I'm guessing they're these ones here. Now the big problem with this build is they don't really tell you what you're using. There is a site, My Part Works, which help you out with these. So I'm just going to see if this fits in the nut. Oh yeah, these fit fine. So here's these brass screws that I've got with it. So to get these in, we're going to be putting one of the nuts in that side there and holding it in with one of the bolts on this side, one of the brass bolts. Get that lined up. There we go, that's one in. Do the same on the other side. A nut in there. Hold that with my finger and then put the brass bolt through this side. Now that battery box is going absolutely nowhere. I can slide it out though to change the battery. That's what that's for. So now I've done that, let me just move this to one side, and we do have a panel here which we want to keep safe. Bring over the frame, and I'm going to put this battery box into place. So this battery box is actually going to be fitting on the underside of this. Bring the cable through this side, and it should fit in here once I've got it in, just like that. Now I am going to want to hold that in with some of the black screws. So we are going to need to take it off this jig just for a second, so I can get these in from this side. And we're going to need 4 of these. And there you go, that's in place. And I can turn this back over now so it can sit good on the jig, because that is all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 55, here's the instructions. And looks like we've got some more frame that we're going to be adding to the outside. Then we're going to be reinforcing the bottom section, sorry, with the ramp, putting these over the ramp sections, and then we are going to be fitting the recesses that we had already painted. So here is stage 55. Get that open. Lots of parts here, but once again, bringing this over, we are extending this jig around this side. And then once again in this stage, we do have a piece of frame that's TF21, which is actually just going to go there. So I've got the little black screws that come in this stage to put that in. Now I've got a 2 connector to put on, which is just going to go into the position here. And then a 4 connector, which is going to go on the bottom here. And we're putting all of those in because I do have now this section that we're going to be putting on, which is going to be fitting into the position just between these 2 points here and here. So I'm holding that in with these black screws. And then that's all there is to do with that part of the frame. So let me put that to one side and bring up what we've already done on the bottom here, because it's this area here that I'm interested in. Now these straps, they've got little ledges in the inside. We want to make sure they go this way round, and they're going to go over the top. Now it's not asking me to glue these in. Let me just put them as a dry fit so we can have a look how these are. They should fit in just like that. I think I am going to put some glue on them. It's not asking me to, but what do I know? It's not going to impede anything, so I can't see why I can't do this. And one there. Perfect. It's not going to impede these rods going up and down, but I think that's going to be absolutely fine. Which means all we've got left to do now in this stage is we're going to put the recesses in. This is going to be great. Now here are the recesses here. One I had already weathered up, one I haven't, but I can actually weather this up while it's on the Falcon. It's not going to cause an issue at all. But what I'm going to do is put these into position. So one's going in there. This one's going to go in there. And we want these shorter brass self-tapping screws. So it's held in with 4 of these. Now people are wondering, when are you going to be painting this then, Wayne? I'm doing it all at the end. It's all going to happen at the end. I'm not doing it as I go along. There you go, that's the last one going in there. So those recess parts are now in place. Let's show you what they look like. This is getting heavy, but there you go. That's how they're looking from that side. And that, my friends, is all there is to do in that stage. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to leave it there today. I am going to open these bolts up that we had. There is a reason I'm leaving it here. I won't be doing stage 55 today. That's for next time, because I'm going to put these bolts in here so that when I actually turn this over, I'm not going to be crushing these ramp parts here. So 4 of these will hold this into place. Okay, you get the idea. The reason being is when I turn this over now, do you remember I said I was missing a part here first? I'm not actually missing it. I do have that part. What I don't have is the magnets, as you can see. So that's meant to go in there like that. Now, you remember I said I was missing some of the parts here? Well, I do have one that was on my thing here. I'm just trying to figure out where that one goes. I think that one goes over here actually, because it's got a little holder on there. So I am actually missing 3, which I need to find. In the next stage, I've actually got to put some detailing on this. There's no point in doing that if I've got some missing. So I'm going to have to get behind that workstation to actually pull these out, which is why I'm leaving that now. But what I am going to do is just put some glue into this one here, so I don't lose this again, because this was actually in my box, so it must have fallen out and I just didn't put it in, I guess. I don't know. But I think that's where we're going to leave it today. We'll get on with this next time. See, please don't let me lift that one up. It's so heavy, but obviously we started working on the top frame now, which has got the battery box in it as well. And it's looking pretty good. You know what? God, what am I thinking? Okay, I will lift this up just so you can see it. This is what that is looking like at the moment. Hopefully that gives you an idea of the size of this thing as well. Now, obviously, I've got one just here, which is completed, but I'm building another one. Can't never have too many Millennium Falcons. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to do this by pack this time. I think for this build going forward, I'm going to do it by stages and ascertain how much work we've got, because I know when we start to put all of these little tiny details in, that's going to take a long time. Anyway, I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.